Hello everyone, the Chart Guys have been working on an introductory technical analysis course for quite some time now, and after surveying hundreds of traders with what would be the most sought after information regarding technical analysis, we came up with this course, When to Enter and Exit. It covers over 5 hours of the basics on when to enter and exit, and we feel after watching this course it will help build a foundation of technical analysis knowledge which will eliminate a lot of the uncertainty in the world of trading stocks. So the course outline, we go over the psychology of trading, establishing a game plan, the different indicators we use to signal a bullish and bearish entry, how to recognize support and resistance levels, poor entries, where traders make mistakes, exit targets, how do you know where to sell your trade, where to place stop losses, that's very important, minimizing losses is what keeps you in the game long term, my personal preparations, how I go about getting ready for each trading day, and then piecing it all together, utilizing all the information we just learned and how to apply that in the real world for making successful, profitable trades. As a bonus, we also include a lot of information on finding entries and exits utilizing patterns, and you can find these patterns on every time frame on pretty much any stock and commodity trading, and certainly being able to recognize those patterns can give you an edge as well. So we hope you will check this out. Again, it's an introductory level course. So if you are new to technical analysis and trying to get a firm grasp on things and feeling a little bit overwhelmed, then this course is for you. I hope you check it out. Appreciate you watching. Checking in on CMG SKX NKE and TWTR. Starting with CMG, we're at this clear $400 psychological resistance level, and it's lining up with a few moving averages as well. We have the daily 100-day at 411 cents. Tomorrow that's going to be right at 400. And then on the weekly, we have the middle Bollinger Band right at 450. So a few resistance levels here. We can see the bulls did buy the dip to defend 395 support. So look back here, see resistance, rejection, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 times there. And now we back test and hold it as support. So 395 support, 400 resistance. If we see further pullback and the inability to get over 400 tomorrow, the low of today was 392.11 support, and then we know 385 is a solid support level because it was resistance back here in December, and the bulls should hold 395 on the first test, or 385 I should say, as the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day moving average are right there as well. So it is an inside candlestick on the daily. If the bulls show up, they're going to have the upper Bollinger Band to deal with as well. That's going to be in the low $400 range. So there's plenty of resistance levels to be watching. And on the weekly time frame, we can see just how tight we're getting. We're pretty much watching the range from the end of October to where we currently stand, where we have our low, the high of the bounce, higher low, lower high, and now we see a third higher low. So there's some clear higher lows, and we can draw some trend lines here. Might as well. Can't hurt. So an uptrend support line right there, downtrend resistance line, and we did make a bull break of that steeper line, but we could put one right there where last week closed, and we're battling that resistance level right now. But either way, I like watching the price action more so than these trend lines, and for me to break the downtrend, it's this level right here of 419.30, and if we see a break of 372.87, that would be a bear break. And here we are seeing that middle Bollinger Band and $400 psychological resistance. So it's going to be a very telling week here. We either reject from 400 and head back down towards 372, or we turn 400 into support and set our sights on 420. So CMG, inside candlestick tomorrow to be watching. We'll see if we get some volatility back. SKX, bears still in control with the middle Bollinger Band resistance, but we did close up at the high of the day. 25.25 is that resistance. The high we've seen on this move is up at 25.67, and in terms of support, it's the low from last Thursday, 24.68. So the range right now, 24.68 support, 25.67 resistance, pretty much a $1 range. And on the weekly time frame, we can see after back testing and holding the exponential support, the bulls tried to make a continuation move last week, but were met with profit taking. So there's a bit of indecision currently on the weekly time frame, and that doji, a perfect example of indecision, as that is what that candlestick represents. NKE, after breaking out on the daily, we're now consolidating. We lost the upper Bollinger Band support. So previous resistance here, this $53 level. It was actually 53.25. You can see the upper wicks rejecting from them, and then the bulls bounced right off that level. So still holding up, still bear days are lower volume than the bull days. And we're back testing. If we drop down to the middle Bollinger Band on the weekly, 52.38, we would expect the bulls to hold that on their first attempt, but that's still a ways to the downside. So as of right now, as long as the bulls maintain the low from last Thursday, 52.44, it is still higher lows on the daily time frame. Keeping an eye on this gap here at 51.33. If we start to see increasing bear volume or some more signals that let us know it's more than just normal healthy consolidation, that's where we will be looking, 51.33. So we're not going to lose sight that the overall trend on NKE is certainly long-term bearish. We can draw a downtrend resistance line here. And that's a place to be watching if the bulls continue. But very clearly, we'd have to break this level as step number 1 to try and reverse this trend. So we still have another couple dollars to the upside before this trend is even in question of being broken for the bulls. So picking and choosing our spots right now and watching to see if this previous support, 53.93 from August, now acting as resistance. Bulls unable to close above 53.93 currently on the weekly. So going to be interesting watching to see if we get an increase in bear volume and further downside tomorrow. Then we can be looking for some potential top fishing at that 53.93 resistance. Twitter, the bulls are continuing strong, and again, we're just sitting back and waiting for a bearish entry. We're filling some gaps. If we were to fill 1787 without consolidating, if we were to see another green day tomorrow or another 2 days in a row and to hit 1787, that would be my target. We're looking for a bearish entry because it lines up with previous support as well, which would now act as resistance, and the 50-day resistance is there as well. So the oversold bounce is underway. We were right at that oversold level. So certainly not touching it bearish at this point, but watching for a bearish reversal candlestick. The weekly time frame, we're right at 50-week resistance of 1748, and then I'm watching the middle Bollinger Band at 1860. So there's no doubt the bulls are in control short term with 5 nice solid green days in a row. We negated the bearish reversal candlestick from yesterday. And like I said, just sitting back and being patient and waiting for a bear signal here because we know the overall trend certainly favors the bears, but the short-term trend is favoring the bulls on this oversold bounce. So we'll see how it all plays out tomorrow. CMG likely to be the most interesting with this inside candlestick and tight range. You see the 100-day moving average resistance rejecting the price multiple times. That's a key level at the $400 point. We'll see you tomorrow.